relevant. So, in the midst of the change, that is what our masters are saying, consistent, regular practice, listening, and learning is required. And I think Christina also raised the question a couple of weeks ago, we have to do it throughout the life. No. Once the mind reaches to a state where it only picks up, reflects the real self, that is the sign of awakening. It always picks up. You may fight with someone, you may have a reservation, and the next moment you recognize, no. So why you fought? Maybe because of the past impression, but the next moment you have recognized it, and you are changed. How long it took you to change? Nothing, just for even a fraction of a second, because that state of the consciousness is always there. It cannot be changed, modified at all. I'm just explaining again and again when we talk of an awakening. And so the consistent, we have been talking about hammering the delusion. And the delusion can be hammered, cannot be, or I would rather make a statement that delusion continues if the mind moves into a non-thinking mode. Non-thinking mode. Example. Something happened with, say for example, with Dennis. It will never happen, but something happened. So my mind says enough is enough. I'm not going to talk to this guy forever. This is delusion. Do I have a larynx and a mouth to talk? You see, just see that. Thinking. Conscious thinking. No, now is the time, enough is enough, let me divorce, I will not talk. And after a few months we introduce, she is my ex and he is my ex. We change ourselves, we defy ourselves. But that moment of the delusion, when the mind is totally deluded, so never promise to yourself enough is enough. I've been telling you. It is going to cause you a lot of pain. But if you move to the state of dispassion, the people will blame and complain. You let them blame and complain. Maintain that. Maintain your state of dispassion, and you will see the delusion is gone. You have to see that for the sake of recognition outside, do you want to keep yourself in the delusion, or do you want a peace inside? Move to the dispassion. Society will never accept the dispassion because society lives unconsciously. Are you listening? Society lives unconsciously. So what happens gradually by regular practice and consistency is there. The time comes now, if the society repels and reacts, it doesn't affect you. You can hammer the unconscious if the time comes in your relationship with, in a personal life, in a professional life, in a social life. It is very important to do that. Otherwise, you are giving a scope to the delusion, and once you give a little bit of scope to the delusion, it will create the same pattern in our life, the same attachment, the same people, same places, same objects. For example, others are not following the path of the Eastern wisdom. No, you are responsible for all the mistakes. I'm sorry. You are responsible for all the mistakes. No, I'm sorry. No, you are responsible. So you have also to show your anger, but don't become angry. It's a very difficult challenge that we need to do it. Because if a person is totally unconscious and constantly putting a pressure on you, no, no, now what will happen? You have already said sorry, so nothing is going to happen. I know you have to say sorry. No, okay, I'm sorry. But one thing should be clear, that you are in the state of dispassion inside your head. Out of that, you are communicating. Your life will change. Life will change. As Terry was saying, the flood has come and the flood is gone. It doesn't dictate us, whether it's a people, place, objects. So, dispassion to remove the delusion. And dispassion comes from the discernment. And discernment means that I move from the non thinking to the thinking. You say something against me, so the second person has a false assumption about me. I have to be very alert that I should not accept any false assumption either about myself or others. Just listen to it. Okay, okay, this thing happened. Okay. Why? Why? Ask yourself. I am treading the path. I want to hammer the delusion. I may have a false assumption today, and I may have a good assumption tomorrow. Same thing, we have a false assumption about the people, about the assets, about the money, about relationship. Ah, just take it easily. Galileo was punished. Perhaps, was hanged because he said the truth. The earth revolves around the sun. So be ready to be hanged by the society. It's a very challenging. Internal challenge is there. Outer challenge is not there. No, we will not be hanged because we maintain that pause. Sometime we shout and we say, okay, this is, now is the time to stop. I don't want to listen to you. But the next moment you are ready to listen. What it means? You are not carried away by the delusion. You are not carried away by the attachment. Because one guy is repeating itself, so it is better to stop and then return again. I have done it 3 times in a very critical situation. And I'll explain later. It's not a talk to be discussed in a group session or when we are recording. So, delusion simply means a wrong capacity to derive false pleasure. I have branded you, you are the worst person. For example, I'm saying, don't take it. Then I say, enough is enough. No, I'm not ready to talk to you. So you are branding yourself as the best person and other is the worst person. That is the greatest delusion. No one is good, no one is bad. Every human being has positive. So we are not carried away by those habitual impulsive thoughts which comes from the sense of attachment and detachment. This is what this master is saying. We have to restart the thinking. And that is why we are not affected by the optical illusion. We play with the optical illusion. Have you not seen in social media? Can you point out? Can you point out where is the problem? Can you find out the person in this optical illusion? What it means? Optical illusion. Cognitive biases. We have cognitive biases. We filter information through biases and assumption. Confirmation biases causes us to see only what aligns with our belief. What aligns with our belief. We are going deeper. Dreams also. Dreams also creates an illusion. So, social illusions. Racism, nationalism, prejudices of the color. We start judging others. And it is happening only because of the strong likes and dislikes. It is only happening because of non-thinking. And that is why we come to Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam. David and Jerry are flying to Canada, so that's why they are not there. Where is Sam? Steve knows, Stephen also. Why Stephen doesn't? You see the false assumption? Mind will continue to make this statement. No, Stephen knows where the Sam is. No, it is a false assumption. So we can casually communicate, but do not dictate your mind. So my friends, see that when I said consistent regular practice, at least we can switch on from non-thinking to a thinking mode. When? Anytime, anywhere. When the mind is thinking about some place, in a person, an object, in a situation, they take it on themselves so heavily, they stick to that. And then they claim that they are become wiser. That is where I started. Terry says, everything changing. We never expected, New York can be flooded. No, expect anything can happen in this world. When we marry soulmate, do we think that we will separate? Shouldn't take it so easily. You start with the non-thinking to the thinking that begins. So while you start from the non-thinking to thinking, there these principle works. So I have to think in a particular way. So my mind says you are the best person, then you are the best person. And if anyone says against you, I'm ready to fight. Or you are the worst person, I'm ready to fight. I should not take it inside. Why? Strong likes and dislikes, attachment and detachment. Enough is enough. I can tell you, just follow these principles. Bhaj Govindam. Bhaj Govindam simply means you recall, you remember, you repeat in your mind that I am the real self of the nature of peace and happiness, how this situation and relations are affecting and dictating over me. Bhaj also means the love for the existence. You can have it, you can take the support system. I take the support system of my master. If I have any issues and I says, Master, how you should have handled this situation. And I have always seen him laughing and smiling. It's a support system to live into that state of the consciousness. And if we live in the delusion, it creates a very big gap between me, real me, and the false me. If the gap is more, what is going to happen? Intellectual fantasy. Now, in that intellectual fantasy, you give 100 reasons which proves that you are very intelligent. But are you suffering? Yes. That is why intellectual fantasy is there. That is why I'm saying, if the gap is more, it creates a delusion. Look clearly, the first verse we says, that is why the master is saying, foolish. Bhaj Govindam, samprapte sannahite kale, bhaj murdhamate. People have fought with me also, and I also fought with the people. Not a big deal. But how, without getting affected, you move into that state of consciousness? We can dissolve that foolishness. And it is possible. It is possible for every human being. Forget about the animals. It is possible. If you follow this principle, am I in delusion? I am saying you are the best person. This is also a delusion, but this is the better delusion. Because, but if I say you are the worst person, I'm blaming, complaining, and reacting. I don't allow the mind to move in either direction. Before you met me, there was nothing whether you are a bad or good. That consciousness is not affected by the. When you say you remember, it means you move from the non-thinking to the thinking. That means you started viveka or discernment, and from the discernment you are attacking the delusion. No, there is no way to patch up with this guy. Okay. That guy is living in your mind. So you are harming yourself. You are still thinking about that guy. Give some space to the mind. Don't cover it, don't color it. If you color it, the student, the seeker comprehends the temporary nature of the human life. Now, I'm giving you those thoughts in your mind. So when we are a seeker, I comprehend. Oh, let me explain, let me understand. When I met Stephen just a few years ago, so I have some score to settle. No, don't settle the score. Drop everything. Let us move to it. Stephen is 100% wrong. Is it possible if I say extremely sorry and I can patch up? Yes, patch up. No, but I'm not wrong. Ego is neither right and wrong. The ego is neither right nor wrong. Why? Ego itself is a delusion. So any delusion cannot be right or wrong. I believe you are getting it. You all are seekers. So ego cannot be right and wrong. No, I will continue to take that stand. After a few years, that stand is gone and dissolves. Why don't you dissolve now? Why don't you dissolve? So that is the message that fully Moor Jahihi Dhana Gat. The second verse, that because of that foolishness, I first depend on a place, a possession, an object, or a person outside, creating the false assumption either it goes in a right or a wrong direction, and then I stick to it. I keep on thinking about it. It doesn't clear my mind. Problem is delusion. That is the second verse we have taken. I'm repeating for the sake of understanding in a different way. So that is the sense of attachment. That is the sense of attachment. I prove that how much you are wrong, I'm living in intellectual fantasy. You also exist, I also exist in the same world, same existence, same air, same earth, same space. I want to bring something very important. I believe you all are listening. You are replacing the attached, detached mind, the deluded mind, with a higher consciousness that has no likes and dislikes. And that higher consciousness is known as the God consciousness. Why the God consciousness does not have a preference of likes and dislikes. If you say the God is the creator, Girish is talking. After 1 hour, gone to the cremation ground. And let me talk about myself. Girish has gone to the cremation ground. Millions of births takes place, millions of deaths takes place at the same time. God is unaffected. Why we are affected? Because of delusion. Are you getting it? Say yes, even if you're not getting it. Nothing in the existence, that existence, if you say that existence is God, is not at all affected. You blame God. God says thank you. You appreciate God. God says thank you. I'm just talking of the higher consciousness that is present in us. I believe you all are getting it. Something happens to the body. God consciousness is not affected. Something happens to the body. Whether it's a pain or the pleasure, what it means? I now realize that I'm not the body. Now I know that I can transcend the body. And it is only possible for the entire human race, excluding the non-seekers. So that is why we have to become a seeker. Material, anything in the world, anything in the world. So in this verse, Master says, if I have an excessive desire, that means craving, that strips the non-thinking. Are you getting it? It strips the non-thinking. It strips the thinking, I will say. It causes you the non-thinking. And that is why we say the greed, jealousy, hatred, or unethical action just hides it, veils it. We are not talking of morality and ethics. So I have to see that how the higher consciousness is veiled, is hidden. That is what this master is saying, how we can hammer the delusion. In the third verse, master is saying, just look at the natural progression of the body. Do you have a sexual desire when you're born? What you are talking. Just take it, We talk of this taboo. So when we grow, maybe around, we say, sweet 16, hormonal changes takes place. Obviously, those sensual desires are there. Now continue to see the life in progression. Now I am 50 or 60. Master says at the age of the 50, check yourself where you are. Are you still sweet 16? Oh, yes, because I am taking Viagra. Is the existence not teaching me what I should do? Can I make it more clear? My parents changed my diapers. Now it is my turn to change the diapers. I should take on the responsibility. Are you getting it? No, I'm not ready. I'm still young. I have 5 grandchildren and I'm still young. See the natural progression. You go against the nature, delusion. I have to look into this. Do everything that you like. Master is only saying how you do it, with what attitude you should do it. That is where the difference between the delusion and the dispassion is there. And I can tell you that you can be in peace here and now if you really understand, digest, and assimilate this thinking process. The delusion is gone. So that delusion is first replaced by dispassion, and that dispassion, in that state of dispassion in the intellect, we are able to see, experience, know that higher consciousness, which is nothing but, you can see, the God consciousness. Why it is not dictated by likes and dislikes, it is not dictated by delusion, it is not dictated by non thinking. The last point is also very important. I'm just using, because that is why I have to repeat it again and again, that when I say discernment, that includes dispassion plus 6 treasures. 6 treasures of calmness in the mind, duality is gone, the withdrawal of the senses has taken place. All together it takes place. So even when I say dispassion, it includes everything. They are not different. It is for the sake of understanding. It is one state of awareness, it is one state of the consciousness. It is not fragmented. That is why our Mondays and Thursdays session are for understanding clearly, more on the contemplation and the reflection plus practice, consistency in the practice. On the Saturday session, you are the highest level of a seeker. You are already consistent. You know what is discernment and dispassion. And there we introduce the principle, and your mind goes there. It lives into that state. Thank you for tolerating me. Close your eyes. Your eyes are closed. And you see that, I'm taking you to the Saturday session when I say be comfortable and be carefree. So you become alert and aware. Oh, yes, I'm comfortable. Someone says inside, I'm in the state of sensation, comfort, and steadiness. And yes, I'm comfortable also and carefree also. Let the thought come in. They are separate from me. So then you can instantly move to the mantra. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Simple meaning, may there be happiness for all. Now, can you use this statement or principle or a concept, whatever you want to say, to remove the delusion? By consciously thinking, we don't have a delusion at this moment, but I'm thinking, so I move from the non thinking to a thinking mode. The moment I say happiness is the nature of all, so there is no question of blaming, complaining, reacting. Oh, finished. The mind stops. That non-thinking mode does not mean that you are not thinking. Non-thinking is there thinking in a wrong direction. Oh, this guy or that guy or this position or this situation. You drop everything, you are already in the state of happiness. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. May there be peace for all. Can you think? You are still thinking. Again, understand the language is very critical to understand in the journey. Waste and wisdom. When I say non thinking, you are still thinking. Thinking with the preferences, the likes and dislikes. It is an intellectual fantasy. So we have started thinking in line with the principles of Eastern wisdom. Why? To change the mind, to see if it works or not. So, may there be peace for all. When I say peace in you, peace in me, both are the same and one thing. We have differences. Let me argue and resolve. So your mind has a locus that peace is working. Even if I argue, I give right, wrong argument and ultimately come to the peace. Depending on the temperament of an individual. And that naturally comes to your ability. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Let there be completeness in all. That consciousness in us recognizes that there is no way my mind should blame and complain first and then I suffer, or praise and brag someone and feel elated. That is the human mind, and the higher consciousness is the God consciousness, which is not at all affected. So my mantra recitation should help me, again I'm saying, to move from the delusion to dispassion, or I can say move from the non-thinking to a thinking consciously. Sarvesham, Sarvesham, Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. May there be an auspiciousness for all. I'm leaving this part for you to think when you repeat the practice yourself. Just start thinking. Again, I'm saying non-thinking to thinking mode. Be very clear. Non-thinking does not mean that you are not thinking. Non-thinking meant that I am moving in a wrong direction. Why? Because I have false assumption. Why? Because I have divided you and me. Why? Maybe because of likes and dislikes, because of the attachment. So that clarity is there in you, and from that is why you follow the principles. Once you reach there, drop everything. And now is the time we have been checking the endurance of the mind also and the resistance of the mind. So, looking deep inside the forehead, yes, in the space, and there you say you are dropping Om Shanti with a pause and start breathing. Start breathing. Quick and short, gentle breath through both the nostrils into the rib cage. If Terry can do it, obviously anyone can do it. And you already know we are recognizing the changes taking place during the practice. And if there any resistance, what you should do with the resistance, you play with the resistance, you endure it. If the mind says, no, I cannot do it further, non-thinking, you are thinking still. So that is where the resistance you recognize, and when you endure it, you move from the non-thinking to the thinking. Be very clear, it's so simple. Continue the mind. You see, the non-thinking aspect of the mind will create a lot of challenges, even with the beautiful experiences of the vision, colors, tingling, numbness, relaxation. Because the mind doesn't want to change, so it says this is the problem, but it is not a problem. And sometimes the resistance is there and you keep on doing it, and we have succeeded. We're doing it for almost 6 minutes. Well, something I think 7 minutes also. Recognition, experience the changes, resistance, meet with the resistance by consciously thinking or a contemplation during the practice. Om Shanti, you are aware, or you are dropping Om Shanti with a pause. Why pause? It allows you to consciously think and contemplate. How can I go into a deeper meditation by thinking no worries? Just do it. Continue, my friends, continue. Endurance, I use the word endurance. Out of the 6 treasures comes the titiksha, the fourth one. And stop it, become aware of the breath. I have already told you which flow is less. You pay attention there. If both the flows are equal, continue to maintain your awareness on the flow of the nostril and see how my mental state is. So it aligns with the higher consciousness. That is another way to understand it. That is so. Now looking deep inside the forehead, Om Shanti, and start with the belly breathing. Belly breathing. You could also recognize the flow of the nostrils even during the belly breathing seems to be equal. And it is happening due to the higher consciousness intervenes in the mind. We are talking at a subtle level because the level of the delusion is gone. Even during the belly breathing, you can see both the nostrils have almost an equal flow. That would be a great deal. So on a given day, you will find the flow of both the nostrils, even during the belly breathing, is equal. It normally doesn't happen in the first breathing. Maybe the physical reasons are the cause of our physical constitution, condition. So we are now raising our awareness. And the day comes when it is also possible. The moment you start doing it, the mind follows the equal flow of the breath through both the nostrils. Om Shanti continues. And stop it. Do nothing. So you are doing nothing. You are living in an awareness. You are reflecting and you recognize the flow of the nostril. I just gave a pointer. So where the mind can go and check the flow of the nostril is equal, you need not to worry. Even if there are many thoughts, it is possible. But these thoughts may be too far from you and the inner state. And gradually those thoughts also dissolve. You might have experienced it. Now looking deep inside again, inside the forehead, dropping Om Shanti, and now the third breathing with the belly and the rib cage. Here also you will find the flow of the nostril is equal, and it becomes a bit challenging to inhale and exhale long deep, because when both the flow are equal, you need an extra awareness and attention. Just see if that is what you are experiencing. And stop this. Again, you're just aware of the flow of the breath, nothing else. At the same time, you have a variety of experiences of tingling, of numbness, of vision in the colors as if the mind is absorbed deeper within. But don't leave your awareness of the flow of the breath. That one pointer will take us deeper. And you are neutral, if the flow is not equal, you pay attention to the flow where it is less, and if it is equal, you are still paying attention to the flow of the breath. There is no change in the rate and the rhythm of the breath, my friends. And now, moving the mind inside the heart, visualize the triangle, move the mind on each side of a triangle with Om Shanti. Check the sync. If the movement of the mind, Om Shanti, and the side of a triangle, they all sync together, then singing Om, move the mind inside, deep into the cave of your heart, through the triangle, Shanti. So first if I say so, you created a situation for absorption, and then there is a self-absorption. You see that, you are aware of that. And if there is any disturbance, you return to the triangle, sync again, and move there. And now the Om Shanti on the 16 segments of a finger without physically touching. So now you can easily understand there are three bodies we talk about: the physical, the subtle, and the causal. So it's the mind's eye, ear, tongue, and the speech working in the mind itself. So we are working at a subtler level of Om Shanti. Why we want to tap the causal level. And that is why all the meditations are done. And that is why we say, make your physical body totally steady for a considerable period of time to recognize the subtle and the causal layers of our bodies. Remember, it's not mechanical Om Shanti. Maybe you simply do one Om Shanti and you're already living into that higher state of the consciousness. And you can make a difference between if the thought takes your mind away or it is simply a pure awareness. You can make a difference between the two. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both your palms. Place it in your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences. We'll share our experiences. Bring the hands down. And if you have any question, how are you, Samir?
But it was very deep, and I felt as if body is totally different from mind. It was means I felt a gap between the body and the mind. Means body is sitting on the
Good.
bed and mind is in peace. That
Mind
was
is
my
in
experience.
peace. Beautiful. The moment we definitely will experience this separation. Why we experience this separation? It is already different. That's why we talk of the three bodies: physical body, subtle body, and the causal body. Otherwise, we should not talk. They are three bodies. They are interconnected. But in a higher consciousness, that higher consciousness knows they are different. Attached mind, deluded mind does not know they are different. Beautiful. How are you, Stephen?
Oh, good, thank you. I agree with Samit. It was just a complete separation of mind and body. My meditation started. I was uncomfortable this morning. I'm having a little bit of lower back pain, and as I closed my eyes, it was just a moment of peace and calmness and the complete separation. There was no pain. There's no discomfort. It's still I'm still in that state. Only thing I noticed during meditation again was an overwhelming change in body temperature. Again, felt we went to the triangle in the heart center. I just felt the drop and I just got really cold and struggled to come out. So it was just a very, very good experience. Thank you.
Beautiful. You rightly said. Now it's a point of learning. That's why people write to me, I have an extreme headache, I cannot attend the session. No, you must attend the session. Why you attend the session? Because the experience of the headache takes place in the mind with the reference to the physical body. So if the mind changes, our headache can change. This is what Stephen is talking about. And that is in extreme, at the extreme level, these masters have practiced. What they practiced? They went to the Himalayas and they said, okay, we will sit at least for 5 and 6 hours. Is it possible? It was not a torture to the body. First, they practiced discernment and dispassion, and then they wanted to see if it is possible or not. And it is possible. I don't know how many of you are aware, in the Indian part of the Ladakh, I went there, I spent almost about a year. So those young monks were initiated at an early age, at the age of 7 or 8. And I think you all know Surya Namaskar. Yeah. Young monks at the age of 8 and 9 years, Buddhist monks, they do 100 Surya Namaskar in that heat. Not because of the body, because of the mind. I stayed in one of those monasteries. How are you, Brandy?
I'm good, thank you. During the meditation, a couple of times when you gave a long pause between talking and the space, when you were talking, and it would take me a little while to reconnect with your voice. I was deeply in the space, and then something different happened this time with the triangle. I have a hard time visualizing the triangle, but today I visualized dots. It was like connect the dots. There were like three bright corners.
Beautiful.
I don't know if
that too is good. That too is good. One thing to understand, you have raised this point, so that's why I explained based on each one's experience. My eyes can see the image of a triangle outside, which is a physical image. But when I close my eyes, it is a thought image. The moment you thought of a triangle, it is there. Are you talking about that with eyes closed? I can see the image the way I see it through my eyes. No. It is a thought image. So what happens, it takes a little more time to separate that consciousness, physical with the mental consciousness. But you are already successful the moment you say the three dots. Still you did not see, it is a thought image. It is still a thought image. How have you tried?
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm not sure how to. It's about the Om Shanti.
Yeah.
Going back to an earlier practice about is it important or not to coordinate, if it's fast or slow or how it syncs up.
Yeah. Om Shanti,
Or
when you are saying it consciously. You are not saying it habitually. So when you are saying it habitually, obviously the habitual mind will take over. So you said Om, now you said Shanti. So it will break the habit pattern.
So if you go on one side of the triangle, the next side, Shanti,
That will do.
or any other.
So yes, that is also very interesting to understand that. When your mind lives at a higher awareness, it bypasses the time and the space. Time and the distance of the shape of the size of a side of a triangle. So it can easily drop on every side, it can easily drop Om Shanti. Second side Om Shanti, third side Om Shanti. So the mind has an objection that it can only say Om on one side and Shanti on the other side. So we recognize it's a long journey. I have to be consistent. I have to do the practice. And once your level of awareness is very high, Om Shanti. Can you tell me how much time to know my name? Do you know my name?
Right away. Instantly.
And the side of a triangle, still you have to cover a distance, and you are saying instantly. So Om Shanti happens instantly.
Okay. When you go in the Nyasa,
Yeah.
then the direction
So,
matters.
yes, I can go even that point is also should be very clear. When you are doing the Nyasa and you are saying Om Shanti, so your mind is directing the Om Shanti, that takes you to the higher consciousness. And here, when you are dropping the Om Shanti on a triangle, I said you are sinking. So sinking means that you are in fact you want to pick up that higher consciousness where the time and distance is not there. So more or less both are the same in a different way. We will talk in detail. So that is why we share the experiences. But if I give you all these principles in the very beginning, this will happen, then many of you will have an imagination. So that's why I don't talk about it. I explore the principle through your experiences. How are you, Dennis?
I'm fine, thank you. The meditation was deep and seamless. The flow of breath was equal. There was a feeling of complete comfort, warmth, and peace at the end.
Beautiful. That's a smooth sailing of the mind from outside to inside. I just got my mind is prompting one thought. Uh, Any time during the day, become aware of the flow of the nostril and align the Om Shanti there and see what happens. But if you remember, then it will happen. If you don't remember, it will not happen. Do you see? That is why we are understanding the entire process. How are you, Vaibhav?
Thank you, sir. So mind became calm. It was realizing that is the imagination that I'm seeing, and when I'm dropping the imagination, here I am. So it became clear. It was calm and peaceful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what happens, it is calm and peaceful, so it continues to stays in spite of any thought from the past impression or the current situation comes. That state of the consciousness is constantly, continuously maintained. That is how we declare that it is unchanging reality. So once we reach there, it is an unchanging reality. We get a glimpse of it. So now symbolically, Master says it is because of